Welcome, everybody.
哦，
It's good to see everybody. Verses 9 through 15.
第9到15节，
They said to him, "Where is Sarah, your wife?" And he said, "She's in the tent." The Lord said, "I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah, your wife, shall have a son." And Sarah was listening at the tent door behind him. Now Abraham and Sarah were old, advanced in years. The way of women had ceased to be with Sarah. So Sarah laughed to herself, saying, "After I'm worn out and after my Lord is old, shall I have pleasure?" The Lord said to Abraham, "Why did Sarah laugh and say, 'Shall I indeed bear a child now that I'm old?' Is anything too hard for the Lord? At the appointed time I will return to you about this time next year, and Sarah shall have a son." But Sarah denied it, saying, "I didn't laugh," for she was afraid. He said, "No, but you did laugh."
第9节开始啊，他们问亚伯拉罕说：“你妻子撒拉在哪里？”他说：“在帐篷里。”3人中有一位说：“到明年这时候，我必要回到你这里，你的妻子撒拉必生一个儿子。”撒拉在那人后边的帐篷门口也听见这话。亚伯拉罕和撒拉年纪老迈，撒拉的月经已经断绝了。撒拉心里暗笑，说：“我既已衰败，我主也老迈，我岂能有这喜事呢？”耶和华对亚伯拉罕说：“撒拉为什么暗笑？说我既已年老，果真能生养吗？耶和华岂有难成的事吗？到了日期，明年这个时候，我必回到你这里，撒拉必生一个儿子。”撒拉就害怕，不承认，说：“我没有笑。”那位说：“不然，你实在笑了。”
Let me give you a little context for this story.
我给你大家一个这个故事的上下文。
Who's talking to Abraham and Sarah?
谁对亚伯拉罕跟撒拉说话呢？
That would be these mysterious visitors that showed up one day.
这是一天，就是很奇妙就奇怪的这个这个旅者到了旅游的人到他那边去。
We're to understand that at least one of these visitors is God.
我们知道从故事里面知道，其中这3个探访的人里面的一个位是神。
We consider this to be a pre-incarnate appearance of Christ.
我们相信这是道成肉身之前的一个就是其中一位是耶稣。
He's the Word of God, the angel of the Lord.
他是神的话，也就是这个就是是神的使者。
He's God's messenger,
他是神的使者，
but he's also God himself.
他也是神本身。
So he comes to Abraham and he says, about next year, about 1 year from now, you'll have a son.
他来了跟亚伯拉罕说大概1年之后，就是大概从那个时候你会有一个儿子。
Now, God had promised Abraham a son many years ago.
神曾经应许答应过给亚伯拉罕多年前一个儿子。
He said, "I'll make you a great nation."
他说：“我会使你成为一个大国。”
But as time went on, Abraham and Sarah got old,
那时间过了一段时候，亚伯拉罕跟撒拉都已经年老了，
and they got impatient.
他们也就是不耐烦了。
So Sarah said, "Look, God's not going to give you a son. How about you just take Hagar and have a kid with her?"
那么对亚伯拉罕，撒拉对亚伯拉罕说：“神不会给你个儿子，要不要你就把这个夏甲娶来？”
But you see, that wasn't the son that God wanted for them.
你看，夏甲生的孩子不是神要给这个亚伯拉罕的儿子。
And while Ishmael also became a great nation, he wasn't the child of promise.
我们知道以斯玛利也成为一个大国，但是他不是神所应许的儿子。
God was going to use the old to bear nations.
神要用这个年迈的，要承载一个国家。
Why did he wait so long?
为什么神要等这么久呢？
He wanted to show his power.
因为他要表现他的能力。
Let me give you an example.
我给你一个例子，
This may be kind of hard for most of us to picture, but
可能对一些人可能很难想象。
imagine you haven't had any food in a week.
试想想，你大概1个星期都没有吃任何食物。
And you go to a soup kitchen.
What?
A soup kitchen.
你到那个餐馆或者是一样，
And you say, "I'm hungry, I haven't had any food in a week, I just need some food."
你是说我已经1个星期没有吃了我很饿，我需要一些食物。
And the person in charge says, "Oh yeah, we'll get you some food, but we're kind of short-staffed. Could you help scoop soup for other
他
people?"
就跟人说我会给你1顿饭吃，但是我现在人手不够，你可不可以帮忙我？
Don't worry, you'll get some food.
不要担心，你会得到一些食物。
You say, "Sure, I can help with that, no big
那
deal."
你就说好，肯定我可以帮忙。
It's been a week, what's another hour?
1个星期就没事了，再多1个小时也算不了什么。
So you're serving everybody in the line, you're scooping soup into bowls.
那么你就每一个人来排队的，你就是把那个汤放在他的碗中。
And what was once this giant pot of soup is getting lower and lower.
那一大锅的这个汤就慢慢就越来越少了，
And your stomach is rumbling.
那肚子一直在打鼓。
And you're like, I don't know if there's going to be enough left. There's another 20 people in line. It looks like 20 scoops of soup.
还有大概20人剩下，20个人排队，大概锅里面大概有20碗的这个汤，可能不够哦。
Am I going to get the food that they promised me?
我到底到最后，他答应给我的这个汤，我会有没有得到呢？
And you said, well, I'll wait and we'll see. So you keep on scooping.
你就心里对自己说，我在等，你就一直
And you
不
get
停的就拿这个汤。
You get to the last person in line
到了最后一位排队的人，
and you give them the last scoop of
你
soup.
给他最后一碗的这个汤，
And there's nothing in the pot.
那么锅子里面已经空了，一点都没有了。
Maybe a piece of celery,
可能一小块这个菜，
a couple drops of soup.
或者1-2滴这个汤留下来。
And you're like, well, there's no way I'm going to eat now.
看个样子，大概今天又是要空肚子了。
And then the person in charge calls you to the back into the kitchen and you go back to talk to them.
然后负责人就叫你到这个厨房的后面，就跟你说，
And they say, thank you so much. Here's some soup.
他说谢谢你今天的帮忙，这就是你应该得到的。
We got this out for you earlier because we wanted to make sure that you were going to eat.
我把一些剩下，我就要对自己说，你一定要给得到，今天要得到这一碗这个汤。
You see, God promised Abraham a descendant.
所以神答应亚伯拉罕一位后裔，
He promised him that he would be a great nation.
他应许亚伯拉罕说你会成为一个大国。
But all the soup was gone.
那汤已经完全没有了，
They couldn't have kids.
怎么可能还有这个孩子呢？
It says Sarah was too old.
撒拉已经太老了。
So of course they would think it was a little silly that God would say, you'll have a child next year.
所以他们心里会想，这很愚笨嘛，明年还可能有一个孩子呢。
I mean, Abraham's almost 100.
亚伯拉那时候已经大概100岁了，
Sarah's in her 90s.
撒拉也在90岁了，
Kind of silly.
是不是很愚蠢？
But God said, is anything too hard for me?
但是神说没有，在我没有难成的事。
Of course, the answer is no.
当然，这个答案就是不是，
God was going to provide for Abraham on his own schedule.
因为神会给亚伯拉罕按照他的时间跟日期，
It had nothing to do with what Abraham expected God to do.
一点都跟这个亚伯拉罕期待神给他的事情都没有关系。
God was going to fulfill his promise one way or the other.
神会做他承诺的事情。
So he waited until the only possible way Abraham could be a great nation is if God did it.
他一直等到就是亚伯拉罕能够成为大国，只有他觉得不可能了，神才彰显他的能力。
He waited until it was impossible without his power.
所以他等到就是这个事情好像是不可能成就了，神那时候才表现出他的能力。
Not as a way to punish Abraham for anything he had done, but as a way to show his power to the world.
不是神要惩罚这个亚伯拉罕所做的事，因为神要彰显他对这个世界彰显他的能力。
We have to wait for God's timing.
你要等候神的时间。
Often we try and rush into things and we try and make things happen because we don't trust God.
那时候我们很基础要使事情就是完成，因为我们不能够完全信任这个我们的神。
And it always backfires.
很多时候就是有这个反作用了。
We have to wait on God to fulfill his promises
我们要等候神来做成他的应许，
because God used the old to give birth to nations.
因为神用这个老迈的承在他这个国家，
So you have to wait.
你需要等候，
You have to be patient
你要有耐心，
because God keeps his promises.
因为神永远就是永远做成他的应许，
He never breaks his word,
他从来不会说不做到他所应许的事情，
and he'll provide exactly what he told you he would.
他会给你他所应许的，
So he shows his power through Sarah and the birth of Isaac.
所以他向撒拉跟以撒就是显示他的能力，
But he doesn't stop there.
但他并没有停止在这里。
We're going to skip forward a generation.
我们越过一个世代，
So
一个
not
年
Isaac, but Isaac's kids.
不是以撒，然后到以撒的孩子，
In Genesis 27,
在创世纪27章，
we're going to see God show his power through Jacob.
我们看到神透过雅各彰显他的能力。
And he's going to use the young to inherit the promise.
这里时候，他要用年轻的来承受他的这个应许。
So God shows his power by making the old give birth to nations and by making the young inherit the promise.
所以神用这个老迈的人，就是承载他的国家，然后用这个年轻的来承受他这个应许。
Let's read this passage.
我们看27章26到29节创世纪。
Then his father Isaac said to him, Come near and kiss me, my son. So he came near and kissed him. And Isaac smelled the smell of his garments and blessed him and said, See, the smell of my son is as the smell of a field that the Lord has blessed. May God give you of the dew of heaven and of the fatness of the earth and plenty of grain and wine. Let peoples serve you and nations bow down to you. Be Lord over your brothers, and may your mother's sons bow down to you. Cursed be everyone who curses you, and blessed be everyone who blesses you.
26节，他父亲以撒对他说：“我儿，你上前来与我亲嘴。”他就上前与父亲亲嘴。他父亲一闻他衣服上的香气，就给他祝福，说：“我儿的香气如同耶和华赐父之田地的香气一样。愿神赐你天上的甘露，地上的肥土，并许多五谷新酒。愿多民侍奉你，多国跪拜你。愿你做你弟兄的主，你母亲的儿子向你跪拜。凡咒诅你的，愿他受咒诅。” 凡你祝福的，愿他蒙福。
Now you might be saying, what does this have to do with God's power?
你会问，这个跟神的这个大能有什么关系呢？
The story is several chapters long,
这个故事其实有好几章这么长，
so you'll forgive me if I summarize.
所以我请大家原谅我，就是把它总结一下。
Jacob is trying to trick Isaac into getting the birthright.
雅各呢，就是想要就是欺骗这个以撒，是得到这个长子的这个名分。
He's already bought it from Esau, technically,
因为我们知道开始的时候他已经从以撒那边把那个长子的名分买过来。
but it's clear that Esau is still going to try and get what he expects.
但是我们从这个故事看到，以撒还是尽可能想拿回他这个名分，
He still wants the blessing of the firstborn.
因为他仍旧要他这个长子的这个祝福。
And so Jacob, being the tricky one, puts on a goat skin and goes into his father's room.
我们知道雅各是比较狡猾的，他就披上一个羊毛的衣。
Now, Isaac thinks he's about to die,
以撒想他可能就快要死了，
and he has gone blind, so he can't see who he's talking to.
他那心老，他已经瞎了，他看不到谁跟他说话。
And Jacob and Esau are twins,
雅各跟以撒是孪生子，
so they probably sounded pretty similar,
所以他们可能声音可能是差不多一样，
close enough that Isaac would believe it.
相当接近，使到这个以撒也会相信。
So while Esau is out preparing some food for Isaac, Jacob sneaks in to get the blessing.
所以当以撒去准备食物给当以撒准备食物给这个以撒的时候，那么雅各就偷偷进去。
And Isaac says something along the lines of, "Wow, that was fast."
那么以撒说怎么这么快就准备好了？
And Jacob says, "Oh, God blessed me on my hunt."
雅各说神祝福我，到外面一下子打到这个动物了。
So he comes near, he gets the blessing, and the blessing is very straightforward.
他就走进以撒，然后得到这个祝福。这个祝福是非常相似的。
It makes it clear that even though Jacob is the younger, the blessing is for everyone to bow down to him.
从这个祝福我们看，虽然是雅各是比较年轻，但是他全部的人都要向他跪拜。
That doesn't